Many students at UW-Oshkosh Fox Cities left wondering where to go after learning this morning their campus was shutting down at the end of next academic year. As Samantha Cavalli reports, this comes after UW announced last year it would shut down its other satellite campus in Fond du Lac.
In a news conference with UW-O Chancellor Andrew Levitt, he says the decision to close the campus came on Monday before telling county executives, faculty, students, and staff about the closure today. County Executive Tom Nelson, who is a proud UW Fox Cities grad, has since criticized how the decision was handled.
The decision to close the campus came down to a university analysis done that showed UW Fox Cities enrollment has declined 67% in the past decade. The 5-year average decline is nearly 19%. The analysis was completed and shared with the chancellor at the end of April before sharing it with UW President Jay Rothman in mid-May. Nelson filed an open records request last month to learn the plan for UW Fox Cities and says the university replied with questions instead of answers. Nelson says he feels like the chancellor has betrayed students. Levitt says he's doing what's best considering the circumstances.
They're not taking responsibility for this. They have done a really poor job, and they have set us up to failure. This is at their doorstep.
As we continue to lose enrollment at the Fox Cities campus, it's more and more difficult to provide high levels of service for those students. And so this is a reason why we're choosing this point in time. We can still provide the service. It's not degraded to the point where we're concerned about the student experience, but we can't go another year or two.
Plans are already being made in place to help those who have been affected by the decision. The campus closure will go into effect June 30th, 2025. In the Fox Cities, Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News.